Hello, friends. We hope you and your family are well, your loved ones. Most of you already know the history of ACT tours, which is adult customized tours. We celebrated in January our 25th anniversary being that company here in Palm Springs, but our story actually started decades before that, in 1976, when I, as a German instructor, took my German language students to Europe, and we customized a trip for them at that time. Since then, both through international programs I offered at the Palm Springs Adult School and then through ACT, we've lived through many storms: the Gulf Crisis, the Gulf War, September 11th, and of course the Great Recession of 2008. After each event, we learned valuable lessons and we came back stronger. We know how to survive, ensuring a full and robust return to business and a secure company. Recognizing the impact this epidemic has made, we immediately cut expenses, marketing, and made the difficult decision to reduce our office hours. Even if this crisis were to continue and impact our industry and business for several years, we have the resources to remain viable and are ready to service you for many more years to come. Our ACT team members anxiously anticipate the day they can return to work full-time, and so do Lalo and I. If you are awaiting a refund from one of our programs, the delay may have to do with the airline. We must wait for your airline to process the tickets so that we can, in turn, refund the funds back to you. Please understand that ACT does not hold this money. We kindly ask for your patience, as timing is outside of our control. And it is likely that we will not have a final resolution and refund for the tickets potentially for as long as several months. We depend on the cruise lines for that and our operators, and the airlines have been dragging their feet on this. As soon as the airline has processed the ticket refund and when the land or cruise operator has also returned your money, we will process the amount and send you a check. So your patience is appreciated. We continue to prepare for the future, and we are working diligently to create our full line of 2021 programs and beyond. We look forward to soon presenting you with our new menu of vacations and to open them for booking. In the meantime, rest assured, all paid deposits remain intact. We want you to know that we will not operate a tour until we are confident it is safe to do so. The destination is adequately prepared for visitors, and airlines, hotels, and other vendors are in compliance with all the government regulations. Be assured that ACT Tours will take no risk where your safety and health is concerned. We understand that you may have additional concerns and are here to provide answers to the best of our ability. We kindly ask for your patience as we are experiencing high call volumes and inquiries, and responses may be delayed. It won't be like this forever, and we thank you for your understanding. We do look forward to working with you very soon. And having said that, I will now introduce our team. You know Lalo Alvarez. He is our Vice President and Product Developer. Hello, Lalo.
Hello, Steve.
Anything going on?
Well, you want to talk about Pentecost Island program?
Pentecost Island. We'll talk about Pentecost Island. You're excited about that, aren't you?
I am. I'm excited.
Okay.
Very excited.
I bet most people don't know where Pentecost Island is, but we'll talk about that shortly.
Okay.
Okay, and then you also remember Tina. And you also remember Linda. And that's our ACT team. Okay.
Would you like a cookie?
Oh, wow.
Oh, this reminds me of our meetings. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Now, normally, as you know, as you can see on the agenda, we ask people, have you been anywhere lately? By the way, before we go into that, I should mention our guests today as well. We have with us Dave Herbert from Great Safaris, the CEO of Great Safaris. We're going to talk about our Africa trips. We also have on hand Mark Anderson, CEO, President of Lynn Lines. We want to ask him about buses and how safe is it with the virus to board a bus now. His wife Melissa has written a book on hand sanitizers, so she's going to be speaking as well. Now, generally at our meetings we say, has anyone been anywhere interesting? But we can't hear you. So to that end, we would like you to, we'd like to hear from you on Facebook or by writing us at acttours@AOL, act.tours@AOL.com. Have you been on a flight lately? What has the airline experience been like? This would be fascinating to hear. What about a drive to destination? Have you driven somewhere and have stayed in a hotel? What has that been like? We'd love to hear your feedback, and we'll post it on Facebook. We'll post it on an e-blast and such. We're going to compile a list of reactions to that question. Where have you been lately? And how did you travel? Travel trends. Well, there's something called the coronavirus. And it's been devastating, not only to travel business, but I think to every business.
Everyone.
Maybe with the exception of Amazon. But we're coming out of it, aren't we? It seems like we are. We'd like to know your vacation status. We update people when they call, and I just heard today that the people, we've already refunded the people who had booked the Tulip cruise and the Hamilton summer performances. And now I just heard today that we are going to be wired the refunds for the Egypt trip. These trips, a lot of these have been moved over. ACT likes to believe in options. I think options, person with options are winners. So we have given, we've moved over the Tulip cruise, for example. We have moved the Egypt cruise program, the Nile, and of course Cairo, to different dates. We'll talk about those later. But we have a lot of these are operating, but we've had to postpone them. How long do scientists predict the COVID will last? There was an article recently, was it the Wall Street? No, it was the New York Post that said that some scientists believe that this will be over as early as September. But it would be irresponsible to give you a date because we don't know. But the main thing, things are opening up again. Airlines have always been flying, even albeit with fewer passengers. But this happened after 9/11. We thought travel was going to be over. Who would want to get on a plane after that? But after 3 months of suffocating existence, of not being able to travel, the public, and of course measures were taken and put into place so that the screening and stuff would make travel safer. We think that's going to happen with this virus as well. Is travel safe? That's a big question. We think that it will be as safe as it was with the right precautions, and we just are waiting. You know, we like to say we monitor these things by the day. And new developments. Let's hope for a vaccine, shall we? Also, the question to ask, I would think you would say, Lalo, would be, are you in a risk group? And you know this, where the information is out there. Do you have respiratory problems? Are you, what the median age of mortality is like 80 years old? If this is an issue, you probably shouldn't travel. But you know this more than I, of your health situation. The foreign countries are opening their borders. Of course, Italy was devastated, but now it's open again for business. Same with Paris and France and other European companies. They're gradually opening up, as is America. So this is a good thing. Our trips are not going until September. and we have Puerto Vallarta and we have Hawaii trips then, but the international trips, you know, there's a lot of things that ACT offers that we don't even post. For example, we have a Royal Caribbean cruise that is going to the Holy Land, and it leaves in October. It's sold out, nobody's canceled. So we play it month by month. I don't want to say day by day, but it almost seems that way, the way events are going. So what about the cruise updates? You know, Cruise Industry News just had one here. Royal Caribbean healthy return to service. All of the cruise lines, of course, are scrambling, and they have taken measures. They've had enough time to know how to disinfect the rooms, and they're going back into service. Royal Caribbean is just one of them. An exception to that, Hawaii, this was, I thought, interesting to share with you because it's a travel club and people want to know the latest. Hawaii predicts no cruise passengers until the second half of 2021. Now, I don't know how they came up with that, but they predict that. Let's see how it falls. But you heard it here first, folks. Yeah, the cruise industry knows that they've been particularly hard hit. We have several trips in the fall going on cruises. Let's talk about what we're doing in the fall. These are all, we want you to know that ACT is alive and well, as I said in the beginning, and that these tours are operational. If you would like to go and escape the madness, we offer the following. 5 dreamy days in Puerto Vallarta. You can see on the screen behind me this flyer, which we'll be happy to send you. All-inclusive Rio Vallarta Resort. You led this one last year. You ready to go again?
I'm ready to go, yes.
What did you like about it?
Well, I like the weather, I like the hotel, the people.
Isn't the hotel fantastic?
Yes.
And it's all-inclusive. There's 5 bars, 7 restaurants, and Mexico is taking extraordinary precautions of sanitizing every room every day, and it's right on the beach. That trip is $9.95 from Palm Springs, folks. I think we have it online. If not, give us a call and we'll send you the flyer. Here's one that we have moved to a new date. Magnificent cities of Central and Eastern Europe. This one goes to the Republic of Czech, and it goes to Germany, it goes to Hungary, Austria. It's a wonderful program, and we just moved this one to a new date. It's in the fall. Magnificent cities of Central and Eastern Europe, $25.95, including airfare and taxes. The Tulip Cruise, which we spoke about, is been reset for March 23rd to April 1st of next year. We're taking bookings on that. Half the people who had booked have traded it. That trip is still an extraordinary price, $24.95. The price has not gone up. And you get it's the river. It starts in Amsterdam, and you spend a night there. We have about 3 days in Amsterdam, and you board the boat, and you go down the Rhine River to the Benelux countries, Belgium, and then you also have splendors of ancient Egypt. Now, Lala, you and I took a large group on this one last year, and it was wonderful. We repeated it.
Excellent.
This is incredible, and in your lifetime, you've got to see the pyramids of Egypt. It's one of Tina's favorite trips too. $24.95 includes round-trip air, and you go not only to Cairo but Luxor, and then, of course, a 5-day cruise down the Nile River to Aswan. Excellent. We're taking orders on that. We're also offering the Best of Croatia. That is still running. This one is in October, and you're on a private yacht. You can see in the back how beautiful this is. If you like, this is a yacht experience. You go into harbors that the big ships cannot drop anchor in, and you go out, and it's dreamy, and you have dinners and lunches, but it also goes to cities like Dubrovnik. It even ends in Venice. Great trip. That is being offered. We're still offering, and it's been very popular, the Best of Greece. This is including a 4-day cruise that goes to Turkey. It goes to Athens, of course. You go through the Corinth Canal, which a lot of you especially like to go through canals. You've been through the Panama Canal. Yeah, you've gone through the Corinth Canal, which this one offers. And what's the Suez Canal? I don't know what the canals.
Panama Canal.
You and the canals. This you go through that: Delphi, Olympia, Mycenae, Nafplion, Mykonos, Patmos, Ephesus, Turkey. Wonderful, rivaled Rome. Crete, Santorini. All of that is in the best of Greece, and that is it starts November 1st. It's the best time. The kiddies are back in school, and the weather in the Aegean Sea is perfecto. And that includes a 4-day cruise, and you're in an outside cabin. You're not in an inside one. You have here also, this is a tremendous value. Great cruise. This is Thanksgiving in Sicily. Thanksgiving in Sicily, plus Spain and France and Italy, because it starts in Italy. Rome, Barcelona, Savona, Italy, which is the Cinque Terre. Monte Carlo, Marseille, France, Palermo, Mallorca, Spain. Great trip. This is a Costa cruise. The price is $16.95. $16.95, and that includes airfare from Los Angeles. Who says that travel is expensive? I'd go on that on a Jack Flap instant. Cruise of the Tsars. Let's don't forget our Russia trip. This one starts in St. Petersburg and ends in Moscow. You're on a riverboat going down the Volga and other rivers. Wonderful Dr. Zhivago country villages along the way, full meals and entertainment on board. There is a trip that includes air, and it is $24.95. It's so cheap. We also have Burgundy, the River Rhone, and Provence. This one goes at the end of October through November 5th, and it is a 9-day trip. It starts in Marseille, and you go all the way up. You follow the Alps. Luxury Riviera Cruise Lines. We had them come and speak at the Travel Club of the Desert. They're wonderful. Now let's hear from Dave Herbert. Dave Herbert from Great Safaris. Hello, Dave.
Hey, great to be here, Steve.
Jambo.
Jambo, yeah.
Sonny Bona.
Sonny Bona, you haven't forgotten.
No. And for the people that don't know, Jambo is what? Hello.
Swahili for hello, greetings. It's a nice, warm greeting.
Yes, and Sonny Bona is not married to Cher. It's how you say greetings in Zulu?
In Zulu, and also some of the other South African tongues as well, yeah.
How you doing? I understand your office is now in La Quinta.
We've moved closer to you. We've moved out of Glendale and got a nice office in Old Town La Quinta, relocated there. Some of my staff will be coming out next month, and the remainder are working from home, like everybody now. We're working virtually, so...
You, of course, the name of your company is Great Safaris, and how many countries on the continent of Africa does that cover?
Well, there are 52 countries in Africa, as I say at your meetings. If people can name them all when they stand up, I'll give them a free trip.
Yeah.
But as you know, we print our maps in pencil so we can keep up with changing the names as well. But we operate to 15 countries, from Egypt all the way down through East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda.
I think I've been to about 15 African countries.
That's
of course,
incredible.
Egypt is included in that.
Absolutely.
But I've never been to, say, Ethiopia. If I wanted to customize a trip to Ethiopia to see those buried churches, does your company do that?
We do, and we use Ethiopian Airlines as well, which is flies non-stop out of, one stop out of Los Angeles. So we use Ethiopian. They're the oldest airline in Africa, Ethiopian.
Yeah, I understand there's not a lot of game in Ethiopia, but for religious reasons, I mean, it's one of the earliest Christian.
It's more of a cultural experience.
Experience.
Yeah.
Let us know, folks, if you want to go to Ethiopia. ACT depends on your input for the tours that we offer. Iceland was pretty popular last year. When are you going to go to Iceland? I've been to London, Paris, and Rome. So we offered Iceland. Well, darn, how many did we have? I think we had about 60 people on that trip. Let's talk about the trips that we have customized through Great Safaris. One of them is the best of Kenya. It's called the Great Migration. We have the flyers that we can send you if you're interested. And the other one is called Kenya's Great Migration and Victoria Falls, which includes Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and that is a combination of the Great Migration. Tell me about the Great Migration. When does it start? When does it end?
It generally starts in July when the wildebeest and the zebras start to migrate north towards the Mara River, and they cross it and go into Kenya. And they finish towards the end of September. So our trip is going to catch the tail end of the migration when the animals are traveling back across the Mara River into Tanzania. They do a circle. So September is a great time. It's a little cooler as well, so it's a better time for travel. And it's really, we've chose that date, as you know. We selected that date over a year ago. And we have a nice itinerary. It's a well-paced. We start off in Nairobi, of course. And then we travel overland down to Lake Naivasha, see the flamingos there, and then on to the Masai Mara.
But you actually go, included in this, beneath the shadows of Kilimanjaro, is Amboseli.
Correct.
I believe that's included on the program as well.
Correct.
Game drives throughout.
Game driving in our safari vehicles. Everybody has a window seat. They have pop-up roofs. Just 6 people in a vehicle. So
everyone's guaranteed a window.
Guaranteed a window seat.
Boy.
And the air conditioning is you open the window.
I had the privilege of touring Kenya and Tanzania during the Great Migration, and it's an assault on the senses. You're in one of these vehicles and you're surrounded by wildebeest and cheetahs are going by, and it's an incredible experience. And then the hot air ballooning on top of that.
To see it from the aerial view. Yeah,
let's talk about the safety of Africa. Let's talk about the coronavirus. Have you heard of it? How has it affected these places?
Well, in Kenya, specifically in Kenya, they've had a lockdown. They're under a lockdown now.
What does that mean, a lockdown?
Meaning that no visitors are allowed in the country except returning residents now. Returning residents.
This is May, of course, and our trip is in September.
In September.
5 months from now.
It's slowly going to be lifted off. The country has they are measuring the infection rate. It is prevalent. I mean, it was a little late coming after the outbreak in Wuhan in China, and then Europe, and then here as well. They were a little later, but they're over the worst of it. Their infection rate is dropping, but they're being very cautious. They're not lifting restrictions, and people are obeying the instructions there and the law. So we believe, and also the hotels and the lodges, they've been sharing with us all the extreme measures they're taking for sanitizing their lodges and their hotels. They're really on top of things. They realize, these countries, tourism is a major industry for them.
Yeah. So
they've got to ensure that their clients are going to be safe. My staff there are informing me that they believe by June, which is next month, by the end of June, the country will be reopening to tourism. So July will be, we have bookings for July and August. So by the time your party arrives there in September,
mid-September, correct?
Yeah. So we believe it'll be back to normal.
This is maybe a silly question to ask. Does the virus affect animals?
No, it does not. It does not. Although there have been cases of it impacting cats, domestic cats in this country. I read of 2 particular cases, but there's no evidence of it affecting wildlife at all. And right now, wildlife is having a holiday there. I mean, they're breeding well. They're not being interrupted by camera tooting tourists as well. So they're actually
Isn't that interesting?
They're actually they're looking forward to seeing some European faces.
Here's some accents. Your programs we don't feature tents. A lot of times people say they want to go to Africa, but are they going to miss something if they don't stay in tents?
No, they're going to be in lodge accommodations. Tents are actually fantastic. In fact, I used to be, as you know, in the lodge business, and I had tented camps and I had lodge camps, and we had to discount the tented camps because people were reluctant to stay there. Nowadays, the tents, we call them clamping. They have doors, they have hardwood floors, they have mini bars. Tents are now a supplement. They're actually extra. But our accommodations we're using for your clients, Steve, they're going to be staying in lodges, air-conditioned, private bathrooms, en suite.
And you know, this is a wonderful thing about the lodges, is that you're going to be on morning game drives, you're going to be on afternoon game drives, but it's nice to come back to some amenities. Dave just mentioned air conditioning. Wonderful food.
Swimming pools?
Well, the seniors don't like to get wet, but they do have some of the best vegetables and dishes.
Yeah.
And see, at my age, I don't want to stay in a tent. I believe in things like running toilets. So, but I love the animals and spending all day, but I'd like to come back and over a nice adult drink have talks about what we saw during the day. The other thing about your trips, or the trips that we customize through your company, Great Safaris, is visas are very accessible. They're easy.
Sure, you can obtain visas. You can obtain them online, and we'll be providing that information. You can log into the Kenyan Tourism Board and just get that online. Or alternatively, we recommend you get it ahead of time, and you can pay the fee with a credit card online. Alternatively, you can obtain a visa when you arrive at the airport. So it's quite easy.
Why do you advise that they get the visa ahead of time rather than at the airport?
It's a little quicker because often there's a line at the airport. We want to get you through the airport as fast as we can and get you back into the hotel. So it is preference. So we'll provide that information as well for Kenya.
Finally, just a little bit, we have the Great Migration, the Best of Kenya only, but we also have one that goes to Victoria Falls.
It goes to 5 countries. After Kenya, it goes to Zimbabwe. It will cross the border, across the Zambezi River to Zambia to the north. Then it will go overland on another day, not all in one day, to Botswana. And then from Botswana, you can actually see Namibia. So
yes,
we say you're as close to Namibia as setting foot on it.
Island.
Impalila Island, seeing that as well. So, but the Victoria Falls is just one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
One of the 7 natural wonders of the world. I think. Now you're originally from
South Africa.
South Africa, and Cape Town Harbor ranks as one of the 7 natural wonders. It ties with Rio de Janeiro's
Sugarloaf Mountain.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And by the way, when you say that there's 5 countries on that extension this is after the Great Migration, you fly to Victoria Falls, which is Zimbabwe.
Non-stop flight.
But you have one 4-star hotel, some rated 5 stars. So you unpack once. You don't have to unpack into Botswana. You don't unpack in Zambia. You're day tripping to these places. Wonderful, wonderful program. I thank you for coming, and I think that we really appreciate. What's this coming here?
Oh, Linda.
Dave, would you like a cookie?
You know, not now, but thank you very
Steve,
much. I was missing them.
I prefer Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
I look forward to seeing many of your guests in Africa come in September. It's going to be a great trip. And remember, a trip to Africa is a wonderful life experience. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, Steve.
I would shake your hand, but I'm sure that you're infected. All right, so we had Dave Herbert talk about our Africa trips, and now I wanted Linda. You are going to be escorting these trips to Africa again.
I am.
And I wanted to ask you a couple questions, if you can.
Absolutely.
What was
Do my
magical
best.
about Africa? Because you came back a changed person.
I did. And many things are amazing about Africa. And we're going to start in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and that's Vic Falls.
Victoria Falls.
Victoria Falls, yes, I'm sorry.
You people who have been there call it Vic Falls.
One of the most beautiful places on earth. There's an African term for the mist that rises from that falls. Smoke of thunder. Truly is a magnificent thing to see. So you stroll along this falls, and that smoke that rises will eventually drench you. And you'll look over to the grasslands, and you'll see these just wonderful rainbows beside you as you walk. So it truly is a magical experience to be there.
Women, you know, some countries are I hate to say it, they're almost masculine and feminine. You know, when I think of Africa, I think of Hemingway and things like this. We have been asked by a number of women, is it safe? I mean, am I going to enjoy this, or is it? I don't like roughing it. What do you say about that?
You are not roughing it by any means. We're staying in beautiful lodges, 5-star. Yeah, there's no roughing it involved. I think the thing that might be the roughest is getting in a Jeep. But, you know, those Jeeps, you're 6 people, and you're out in Africa's countryside, and that is one of the most memorable experiences you'll ever have.
You told me also that you enjoyed visiting Maasai village.
Oh my gosh, that was a very touching experience
Why?
for me. Mainly because you're able to witness how other people live, you know? And these tribes, very minimalistic, but yet they've got so much to offer. And it was a really beautiful experience for me, one that I am thrilled that I get to go back and experience again.
It's hard to believe that all of that is going on as we sleep here in the Coachella Valley.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because they're half naked and
it's a world apart.
Yeah.
But in that, you know, there's so many similarities, you know, between us and them. You know, we're all in this human experience together. So
Now, of course, the reason most people go to Africa is to see the animals.
oh,
You're going to see animals on
you
this
are
trip?
going to see animals, and it is one of so for ACT clients. When I went last year, I had new people like myself that had never been to Africa, and then I had people that have been to Africa time and time again. And as you've told me, Steve, it's one of your favorite places in the world, and there's something about that place that beckons you back.
That's true.
And it absolutely does.
True.
And the first time that you see a pride of a pride of lions right, you know, right there beside that Jeep, it is just breathtaking. You know, the first time you see the elephants crossing right in front of your Jeep, it's moments you'll never forget.
And it's not like the San Diego Zoo where they were planted. I mean,
no.
there are no walls or boundaries here.
No boundaries.
Yeah,
You are in
yeah.
their territory.
Yeah, and this one now you start in Kenya, and then you're going to fly to Victoria Falls, and you're going to nest in a superior first class, some even say 5-star
Yes.
lodge, and you're going to
It's
go to
beautiful.
all of these places but come back to amenities.
And the cruise that we take in Zimbabwe.
Tell
That's
us about
another
that.
highlight.
The Sundowner cruise.
Yes, you're doing that at sunset. And so you've got that spectacular African landscape. As you're cruising down the Zambezi River, the wildlife is all around you.
Because it's sunset and they come down to drink.
They do.
And you know, it's like that
Spectacular.
Disneyland ride when the hippos are there and they're coming up and all this.
Yes.
And then you're also, when you go to Botswana, you're on the Chobe River.
Correct.
And that's where all the elephants are crossing and things.
Yeah,
Linda,
beautiful.
thank you. And I think
I can't wait. I can't wait to escort our program in September
Well, you'll have to.
to Africa.
Thank you. At this time, let's bring in Mark and Melissa Anderson from Lin Lines. Well, this is a first for ACT and our Travel Club of the Desert. We have today with us Mark Anderson, the CEO of Lynn Lines, Anderson Travel, and we also have his lovely wife, Melissa. This newlywed couple, they've been married 2 months, just to usher in the coronavirus. So I wanted you here today to find out about buses. We call them motor coach in this business. How are you? First of all, let's mention what Melissa has written. What is the book about?
So I work at Lynn Lines with Mark, and I've also recently just finished ghostwriting a book all about every type of sanitizer you can imagine. Hand sanitizers, spray sanitizers, gels, foams, UV lights. I'm an expert.
Well, this is why I was so happy to have you join us today, is because of that. You're an expert on hand sanitizers. How does that pertain to Lynn Lines? In other words, our members, I think the general public would like to know, when is it going to be safe to get on a bus? How are you going? Are you going to require everybody to wear a mask? What about social distancing? I throw it to you.
Very good. Thank you, Steve. We've been in business for 39 years. We obviously saw 9/11 and the mortgage crisis as well, so we feel very confident that this is going to pass in due time, and we're very excited to get back to recreational leisure travel with groups like yours in the near future. We've actually just created a plan that we're going to implement, and I'll turn it over to Melissa, and she'll share a little bit with you about what that plan is.
Okay.
Yes, so we've created a road to reopening plan, and as you mentioned, it's still going to be a little while before we have leisure travel, but the reality is people are taking buses right now because transportation was identified by the governor as one of the essential businesses for the critical infrastructure. So there are existing state guidelines for transportation for motor coaches, and that's what we've based our plan on today. So that involves, regular disinfecting of the bus, a whole other level in addition to what we normally do, which is before and after each trip. And then we're also going to be implementing some new technologies beyond just the spray and the wipes, like I mentioned. They've had a lot of promising studies in the last year about UVC light and its ability to kill viruses. In particular, in the last few months, they've found that this particular type of UV light is especially effective against the coronavirus.
How are you going to implement that in a bus?
So they actually sell UV wands that you can kind of just scan the furniture, and that's going to help with the upholstery, so we're in between our deep cleanings of the upholstery, and then just as an added layer on top of the usual sanitizing, which would be the railings, the handles, all that kind of stuff.
Wow. And will the issue of social distancing be part of this? Maybe you can answer that one, Mark.
We're watching the guidelines very carefully, and we're really watching how things are evolving now. And we're very excited to see new businesses open as of even the last week, like attractions and that type of thing. So we're watching those guidelines very carefully. I think one of the concerns that we have is if social distancing is mandatory, what does that do, to the tour industry? So,
including airlines. In other words,
airlines.
it seems to me that if a family or if a husband and wife want to travel, you shouldn't have to separate them 6 feet.
Correct.
The theaters, we just talking to Tina about Hamilton and the theaters, they're going to face the same situation.
Yes.
I, for one, it would not bother me to wear a mask on a bus. In fact, I might just do that, at least until this thing is over. But you're not going to require that, or are you going to suggest it?
It's going to be encouraged. We work very closely with our clients and their groups to create an experience that's appropriate for them. So we want to hear from our clients what kind of safety measures they want in addition to the ones that we're suggesting. And ultimately, there are certain things that we'll encourage, but the decision might come down to the client themselves.
It's very, very divisive subject, isn't it? Because some people freak out if you're not wearing a mask, and others say, hey, I've been tested, even if I haven't, I don't have the symptoms. What's the issue? So it's not easy for any of us.
Agreed.
Yeah. Your buses are, like I said, we call them motor coaches in the business, but your buses are up and running and available for groups to book, correct?
Absolutely. We are open in taking reservations for the future. What's encouraging is that we saw a lot of the cancellations, kind of March, April, May, that type of thing, rebook for fourth quarter. So we really do feel that this is obviously strange times, but really a momentary lapse where we will pull out of this fourth quarter and start to see, again, kind of normal levels.
Good. Optimism. Yes. What, final question for you, Melissa. Your specialty is hand sanitizers.
One of my many specialties.
Yes. Heck of a thing to put on your tombstone someday.
Had to keep busy during quarantine, So.
My question is, which one? I'm just thinking of from my public's maybe point of view.
Yes.
Which one would you suggest?
You always want to go with alcohol over gel, and you should
I'm
always.
not talking about drinking. I'm talking about sanitizer.
Please don't drink it. It will get you drunk. You want to look for any kind of ethanol or isopropanol as the main ingredient, 60% and above.
Can you give us a brand name, maybe?
I wouldn't endorse any one in particular. It's just anything that you can get at the store. As long as you see 60% on the label, then you're good to go.
Purell?
Purell is obviously one of the long-standing brands. They're really hard to find right now.
Just trying to find it. Yeah.
I know, yeah. So you're seeing the FDA actually loosen the regulations recently to allow for more producers. Hand sanitizer used to be regulated as an over-the-counter drug, so that's why there's not that many brands. You think Purell, Germex. They've loosened that. There's new brands you'll see at the grocery store, so just look for that 60% and you can trust it.
Mark, on the buses, are you going to have hand sanitizers?
Absolutely.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for both of you for coming. What do we have here now?
Would you like a cookie?
Oh, thank you very much.
There we go. This is part of the Travel Club of the Desert. Thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you
and
very
if
much.
you have any questions about this, call Mark or Melissa at Lynn Lines in Palm Springs.
Absolutely.
Next we have Tina Spencer, our office manager. Tina has been with us since Skippy was a pup.
At least.
Yes, and she's very familiar with you. She's very beloved by you because you really don't know Tina like I know Tina. In fact, what is this? Is this a new fashion statement?
Yes. I wanted pink. Just accidentally crushed my wrist
How?
falling. And as I'm getting older, the doctor said, you have old bones.
You know, as we age, tripping is quite common. And you are getting up there. I just didn't want to say anything.
No, that's okay.
Tina is Spencer, our office manager, specialty escort to New York and to a lot of our day trips. Tell us about New York. What is going on?
Well, we missed it this year, and I'm really bummed. There was 141 people
141 people
that
have signed up for New York.
It keeps going. It gets bigger and bigger each year because people go back and they tell their friends or they tell relatives and they sign up. And that's how this thing grows. And people go and they like the trip. We stay at the Crowne Plaza, Times Square, which is right downtown. You get a full breakfast, and the breakfast is great. You get the shows, which are always new shows. They're not, something like Lion King or something like that. Not that, but people do go see other shows while they're there. And we're doing it again next year. It's the 19th through the 25th. Same price, no difference there. And there is this one that we had the 141 on. I'd say at least half or more have moved over to this new date. We gave them the option of the people wanting to go move over or to get a refund on
the hotel.
Exactly. So we don't know what the shows are going to be. We never know until probably December. But I think it's a $200 deposit to put in for to sign up, which is very reasonable, and then another 500 in November. And they always welcome us at the hotel. They love our group. So it's always I really missed it. But next year we're going to go again.
Of course, this season, like you said, had to be canceled because of the virus. New York was especially hard hit. They're reopening things right now there. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. But by next April,
we're going.
we don't know. I mean,
But,
it would be irresponsible to say, oh, it'll all be gone by then. But, you know, you have to plan ahead. You can't just get we always get the finest orchestra seats or front mezzanine. The front mezzanines go over the orchestra sections. And that is also how we have Hamilton.
Hamilton is another one that we've got for the Pantages in Los Angeles. There's 3 dates that are left that we can people can sign up for. A couple in November and February 21st. But it's limited. I mean, people are really, they know about this, and a few were canceled, the June and July, and those people had an option to move to a new date or get a refund, full refund. So Hamilton. I was fortunate enough to see Hamilton in New York.
This is a lovely day tour, and the performances are Sunday matinees, I believe, and Saturday matinees.
And we go to, is it Farmer's Market that we're going to go to first, prior, so have some lunch.
No host lunch.
Yep, it's
And then go
it's
right
a good,
to Hollywood
good
Boulevard.
program.
Pantages Theater. We are working on the day trips coming up, and just a lot depends on that, as you can imagine. But this will be out, this is May, so by July we should have the fall and winter.
And have people call and, they call anytime and see if there's something available, but, and our website.
Tina, thank you very much. People, Tina and Linda are there generally in the mornings until things loosen up a little bit, but we are there.
We'll be back.
We
the
are.
Travel will, it's going to come back.
It already is.
Yes.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
I want to add that Princess Cruises just sent an incredible offer. This is not going to appeal to everybody. I sure would do it if I had the time. They're offering a world cruise round trip from Los Angeles. You have a choice between 90 days up to 120 days. And what they are offering for this world cruise, which literally goes around the world, name a country and it's there, they're offering free gratuities, an open bar the entire way, shore excursions, onboard credit, and it starts for under $20,000 a person. But we have this information, and this is a very special deal. Can you imagine having to pay gratuities for 120 days? It's all included. Open bar for that long of a time?
Yes.
Talk about wanting to get away. Call us and we'll give you the details on this. We'll send you this book.
Steve, tell them about Pentecost Island. It's exciting.
Pentecost Island. All right, Pentecost Island. We're working on 2021 programs, and this is a little sneak preview for a very limited group. We're talking about 10 people. Lalo and I are going to be escorting this. The trip is going to start, of course, from Los Angeles. We're going to fly to Fiji for 3 days, stay at a beach resort.
Yes.
And then we are going to fly to Port Vila, which is in Vanuatu. This is a Polynesian island, Vanuatu, and we're going to stay there for 3 days.
3 days.
And then we're going to go to Pentecost Island. It's a short flight to Pentecost Island, a very remote island in Polynesia. This is where the vine jumpers, the land jumpers that you've read about, and you can see on the screen behind you how this is going to work. This is the type of thing that ACT does. Yes, we do London, Paris, and Rome, but we also do Easter Island, and we also do Yemen, and we've gone to Mongolia and the Gobi Desert and Tibet, and we've places that no one else seems to offer. But if you've gone to London, Paris, and Rome, Yes, Pentecost Island. Look it up.
I'm
Do
excited.
a Google search.
I'm very excited.
It's limited to, and we're going to actually stay. We're not just doing a day trip to Pentecost Island. We're going to stay there for 2
Couple
nights
days, yeah.
and meet the
Yes.
natives and talk to the vine jumpers. It's going to be a truly cultural experience, and it's going to be
Spectacular.
$29.95. Okay, are you happy now?
Super happy.
Lala and I were thinking what we're going to do is when we finally are able to meet again at the Best Western Plus Hotel, Palm Desert Resort, we're going to have a champagne party. And we're going to have
Yes.
champagne, we're going to celebrate. Wouldn't it be nice if next month in July we'll have our 4th of July annual ice cream social? And
great.
yeah, and anyhow, we have these big plans. The Travel Club of the Desert will continue meeting. We just have to wait until this nightmare has passed. Certainly is unprecedented. Thank you all, and
We miss you all.
we miss you all, and we're open for business. Come and see us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, is there anything else, Lala, you want to add?
Barber shops are open, and I think Steve should have a haircut.